Huh? What? I know it's 10 degrees below zero outside, but the Constitution says I have the right to bear arms. Hey everybody, this is Emily Josephine, and the intro to this video was a humorous look at the way the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution may be misinterpreted. But today, in this video, I want to talk about a serious, not very humorous way that the Bill of Rights is apparently misinterpreted all the time by a lot of people. And yeah, people who are not in the United States as well. And I'm talking to you too, all right? Because it's not just about the United States Constitution. This video is not just for citizens of the United States. In this video, I want to talk about the freedom of speech, what it really means. What is the freedom of speech according to the Constitution, and what it is not. Now, before I go on, here is basically that part of the Bill of Rights that talks about freedom of speech. Here we go. So what is freedom of speech? Does it mean we can say whatever we want, whenever we want, to whomever we want? No. Have you heard of slander and liability? Did you know you can get sued? It is illegal to slander to somebody or to commit libel against them. Yeah, it's against the law. But doesn't that preach the freedom of speech that I have? See, that's the problem. Okay, hit your rewind button on the player, go back and read what our Constitution says again in the Bill of Rights. The freedom of speech was put in the Constitution by the founding government of the United States, the founding leaders, because they did not want to live in a country where government leaders could get away with whatever they wanted and the citizens would be bound up and not able to speak against them without getting their head cut off. That's what this is about. In other words, if we see a leader in government or a government organization doing something that we believe is wrong or corrupt or harmful to the country as a whole, we can speak out about it without fear of being put in prison or worse, killed, executed. We have the freedom of speech to speak against something that's going wrong in government. There's also the freedom of the press, which is directly related, and it goes along the same lines. There is no freedom of press in China or Russia at this moment. They are communist countries. There's not that freedom where the press can point out things that the government are doing wrong and not expect retribution. In the United States, if you have a newspaper or a magazine, you can publish your opinion on different things that are happening without worrying about being punished for it. That is freedom of speech. The flip side of that is that the government is supposed to keep their nose out of our businesses, whether it's individuals or whether it's organizations or corporations. I was discussing this video that I was going to do with my husband, and he gave me the example. Well, say, for example, the United States government can't go to YouTube and look at a comment, that maybe is somebody writes a comment against the president or against the Supreme Court or whatever, and the government can't say, oh, that's an anti-government comment. YouTube, you need to remove that comment. The government can't interfere like that. The government can't go to somebody's personal blog and say, okay, you need to delete all these comments that are talking about, thus and such celebrity because, we want to hide this truth. The government isn't allowed to do that. Why is the freedom of speech in the Bill of Rights in the United States Constitution? It is to prevent this country from being run by a dictatorship, basically. Okay? It's to prevent the government from getting so much power that the people cannot start a grassroots movement and change what they perceive as wrong. So that's what the freedom of speech is. The freedom of speech does not mean you can be an insensitive, rude, cruel jerk online. I've talked about this earlier. I do not allow comments on my channel because apparently a lot of people have not gotten that message. They think freedom of speech means that they can be a jerk with anonymity. Well, that person doesn't know me personally. I'm never going to meet that person. So I can be a jerk and I can say something that is going to just ruin their day or their week, maybe their year. You know, maybe it will make them go out and commit suicide. Hey, folks, listen. You're laughing, but I know some of you who are really savvy have heard about Facebook bullying and children committing suicide over it. That being said, you know what? This is a really good video to share with your children. You know, your children who are online, they're getting on Facebook, they're getting emails. They need to understand that this is wrong, that nobody has the freedom to oppress them by bullying, whether it's real-life bullying or cyberbullying. But I'm not just talking about bullying. Some people are going to say, well, you know, my negative comments aren't bullying. Well, sometimes you're bullying and you don't really know it. But here's the thing, all right? Are you a human being or not? Do you have feelings or not? Wouldn't it be great if people always spoke to you and about you in a civil and kind manner, even when they're disagreeing, that they kept their comments and opinions, they phrased them in a way that respected you as a human being and did the best not to pull you down or hurt your feelings? If that's how you want people to treat, if that's how you want other people to treat you, don't you think you should be treating other people that way? I'm talking about YouTube comments. I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about tweets. I'm talking about book reviews, whether it's in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever. Authors have feelings too. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom to be a bleepity bleep. Fill in the blank with your preferred term, you know, of obscenity or vulgarity. Now, do you have the ability to be a jerk online? Sure. Are you probably going to get away with it most of the time? Probably, because in my opinion, people don't flag nearly enough comments on, you know, in different places. People don't report and, you know, enough people on Facebook. But sure, I mean, you have the ability to say whatever you want, wherever you want. But listen to me, folks. What goes around comes around. What you sow, you shall also reap. I don't care if you don't believe the Bible. It's a spiritual principle. It happens anyway. When it happens to atheists, okay? Spiritual principles work whether you believe in the spirit realm or not. I'm creating this video today to call everybody on the carpet, and myself included. My sin is I've been harsh in certain book reviews that I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and delete. You know, I got convicted myself, and, you know, I realized, oh, it's not just, you know, I'm not just upset about hearing about Facebook bullying or about people who have left, derogatory comments on my channel or about derogatory comments I've read on other YouTube videos, you know, that weren't even directed to you. I mean comments that are vulgar and or just plain rude and disrespectful, they upset me even when they're not directed to me. See, so you're affecting other people other than just that one person. You're allowed to have your own opinion, okay? It is your privilege to have your opinion, but it is not your right. Nobody has the right to be uncivil, to be rude, to be disrespectful, to be inconsiderate, or judgmental for that matter. Please share this video because a whole lot of people need to hear it. Thanks a lot for putting up with me, but putting up with this rant, but somebody needs to say it, folks. If you haven't given to your favorite charity lately, consider doing so.